-5. QNH 1025. Transition level 60. Advise on initial contact you have information Golf. Copenhagen Kastrup Airport, information Golf. 1250 Zulu. Arriving runways 22 left, 12. Departing runways 22 right, 12. Wind 290 at 11. Visibility 10. Fuel at 6500. Temperature 12, dew point -5. QNH 1025. Transition level 60. Advise on initial contact you have information Golf. Copenhagen Kastrup Airport, information Golf. 1250 Zulu. Arrive.
Scandinavian 90239 radio check.
Scandinavian 90239 Kastrup clearance, roger, readability 5.
Scandinavian 90239 information Golf, request IFR clearance to Oslo.
I am working on that clearance. Stand by.
Passengers boarding started.
Scandinavian 90239 cleared to Oslo via the Vector 2 Charlie departure runway 22 right. Initial climb to flight level 070, departure on 120.255 squawk 4275.
Cleared to Oslo via Vector 2 Charlie departure runway 22 right, initial climb to flight level 070, departure on 120.225 255 squawk 4275. Scandinavian 90239.
Scandinavian 90239 read back correct. Contact ground on 121.9005 when ready.
121.9005 Scandinavian 9032239. Good day, bye-bye. Reparation checklist sequence cover remove P1 delay 5400 kg set seatbelts on 8ers number red 1025 set complete reparation checklist complete.
Scandinavian 75 Golf ready to taxi. Scandinavian 75 Golf runway 22 right taxi via Papa Foxtrot. Hold short of runway 12, then Alpha 1. Runway 22 right taxi via Papa Foxtrot, hold short of runway 12, then Alpha 1 Scandinavian 75 Golf.
cùng ước mơ những hò hẹn bất ngờ để lại trong ta những khoảnh khắc ta lại cùng nắm tay những hành trình đắm say trọn vẹn giây phút giấc mơ tuyệt vời về miền Nam núi đồi biển khơi xanh thẳm rời cánh bay xa gần xa chẳng ai cuối trời
Scandinavian 2813 ready to taxi. Scandinavian 2813, runway 22 right, taxi via Romeo Bravo,
Runway 22 right taxi via Romeo Bravo, Echo 1, Scandinavian 2813.
cảm thế giới như vườn hoa của một chuyến cảm thế giới như vườn hoa của mỗi chuyến
KLM 64 Whiskey ready to taxi. KLM 64 Whiskey, runway 22 right, taxi via Mike Zulu Alpha, hold short of runway 12, then Alpha 1.
Runway 22 right taxi via Mike Zulu Alpha, hold short of runway 12, then Alpha 1 KLM 64 Whiskey. Scandinavian 9031 ready for pushback. Scandinavian 9031, push and start approved. Start approved, Scandinavian 9031.
Scandinavian 9239 ready for push and start.
Scandinavian 90239, Kastrup ground, push and start approved. Face north.
Push and start through face north. Scandinavian 9239. Before start checklist, parking right set, takeoff speed and thrust V1 149, V2 149, VR 149, V2 150, flex time 70 degrees, set windows closed,
Hello,
beacon sound
Captain.
before
We are
start
ready for
checklist
pushback.
limits.
Departure checks completed. Bypass pin inserted. Locking gear. Release parking brakes, please. Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at wheel.
Starting engine 2.
Khách vui lòng dành thời gian để theo dõi các sử dụng các thiết bị an toàn trên máy bay.
Ladies and gentlemen, and dear children, your safety and comfort are top priority, so before departing, we would like to have your attention while we are demonstrating.
Scandinavian
procedures.
581, runway 22 right, taxi via Sierra Bravo Echo 1.
Khách vui lòng cài sẵn dây an toàn khi đèn hiệu cài dây an toàn được bật sáng.
Runway 22 right, taxi via Sierra Bravo Echo 1, Scandinavian
Hai
581.
đầu khóa vào nhau, siết chặt bằng cách kéo một đầu dây, mở bằng cách đứt đầu khóa. Nếu quý khách đi cùng trẻ nhỏ hoặc cần dây an toàn nối dài, vui lòng biết với tiếp viên để nhận dây an toàn trẻ em, dây an toàn nối dài.
Whenever seatbelt sign is on, we kindly ask you to fasten your seatbelt and keep it visible while you are seated. Insert the metal fittings into the other and tighten by pulling the thread. To unfasten your seatbelt, lift the flap and pull the ends apart.
Listed parking brakes.
Mặt nạ dưỡng khí.
Starting engine
Waiting your
1.
confirmation for a good engine start.
Lên xuống từ trên kiểu môi của quý khách để có dưỡng khí. Quý khách kéo mạnh mặt nạ gần nhất.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Unlocking gear.
Vì lý do an toàn, quý khách lưu ý khi sử dụng mặt nạ dưỡng khí cần tránh xa các thiết bị dễ gây cháy nổ. Nếu quý khách đi cùng trẻ nhỏ hoặc hành khách cần hướng dẫn của đặc biệt, hãy đeo mặt nạ dưỡng khí trong trước rồi giúp người đi cùng sau. Mặt nạ dưỡng khí cũng sẽ tự động rơi xuống từ hướng dẫn trong buồng vệ sinh khi mất áp suất. Quý khách vui lòng làm theo hướng dẫn như trên.
If there is a loss of pressure in the cabin, not neutral, down, from unit over your seat. To start the oxygen flow, pull the mask towards you, raise it firmly over your nozzle mount, take a electric band behind your head, and breathe normally. Due to safety requirements, it is important to extinguish all smoking materials when oxygen is being used. If you are traveling with a child or someone who requires
Bypass pin removed.
if you are almost first, then assist the other person. Oxygen masks are
clear.
also available
Right
in
is
military
clear.
and should be used in the same manner.
Áo phao được đặt dưới ghế ngồi của quý khách. Quý khách lưu ý khi lấy áo phao ra khỏi vị trí khi có yêu cầu của nhân viên. Đặt áo tròn qua đầu, thắt chặt dây áo quanh eo. Khi rời khỏi máy bay tại cửa thoát hiểm, quý khách đặc phao bằng cách tấn mạnh thẻ đỏ và lựa đỏ để cuốn phóng áo phao hoặc làm xẹp áo phao. Đèn chiếu hôn trên áo phao sẽ tự động bật sáng.
After start checklist antis off, ENGM status check big cream 26% routine neutral. After start checklist
Nordic 962, taxi to parking via Bravo 4, Bravo Charlie, hold short of runway 12, then Alpha Yankee Lima.
Or between two seats,
Bravo 4, Bravo Charlie, hold short of runway 12, then Alpha Yankee Lima, Nordic 962.
Place over your head, adjust the strap around your waist, fasten in front and to that side. Then leave takeoff and set lights by going down
left
the
side, clear right side, right check position
Level 2
zero,
or
flight
tubes
control
can
check.
be used to inflate or deflate the lights.
Put down.
The signal lamp illuminates automatically. You can guide
Right.
contact with the water.
Show. Good down.
If it doesn't illuminate, the
Left.
light on the light
Right.
battery must be
Sure.
pulled down. Your light may be equipped with a whistle to attract attention. It is again slow to move in the light back from the aircraft.
Trong khoang hành khách có 8 cửa thoát hiểm, 2 cửa phía trước, 4 cửa ở giữa và 2 cửa ở phía sau. Quý khách vui lòng dành chút thời gian để xác định cửa thoát hiểm gần nhất ở phía trước hoặc ngay phía sau quý khách.
There are 8 exits on this aircraft, 2 doors at the front of the cabin, 4 doors over the wings, and 2 doors at the rear of the cabin. Checker is now showing the exit. Please take a moment to locate your nearest exit. It may be front or you're behind you.
Tất cả các cửa chính và cửa thoát hiểm đều trang bị cầu phao, liệt phao. Các thiết bị này sẽ tự động bung ra khi cửa được mở ở chế độ đóng tốt.
All doors and all rings exits are equipped with flip flow flight rate when the door is open and are in the outbound.
Hiểm được ghi dẫn rõ ràng bằng các bảng hiệu thoát hiểm. Trong trường hợp khẩn cấp, hệ thống đèn thoát hiểm sẽ bật sáng để dẫn quý khách đến cửa thoát hiểm gần nhất.
Exits are clearly marked with an exit sign. In case of an emergency, with smoke or the darkness for proximity exit markings or emergency spotlight, please use the exit.
Quý khách vui lòng dành thời gian để đọc bảng hướng dẫn an toàn trong túi ghế phía trước khi máy bay cất cánh. Quý khách vui lòng xác định tư thế an toàn phù hợp nhất trong trường hợp hạ cánh khẩn cấp trên mặt đất hoặc mặt nước, được hướng dẫn trong bảng hướng dẫn an toàn bay. Quý khách vui lòng thắt chặt dây an toàn, dựng thẳng lưng ghế, gập bàn ăn phía trước, hạ tay ghế và mở rộng hết cửa sổ. Xin cảm ơn sự chú ý của quý khách và kính chúc quý khách một chuyến bay tốt đẹp.
It is important to
Scandinavian
recognize that
289er, taxi to parking via Bravo 4, Bravo Charlie Delta, hold short of runway 12, then Yankee Romeo, Whiskey Sierra.
For takeoff. Please ensure your
Bravo 4, Bravo Charlie Delta, hold short of runway 12, then Yankee Romeo, Whiskey Sierra, Scandinavian 289er.
Scandinavian 9239 ready to taxi to runway 22 right.
Scandinavian 90239, runway 22 right, taxi via Quebec, Delta, hold short of runway 12, then Alpha, Alpha 1.
Taxi via Quebec Delta, hold short runway 12, then Alpha, Alpha 1, Scandinavian 29239. Taxi checklist, flight control check, flight setting config, 1 plus F radar and radio windshield. On and auto engine motor technology.
Scandinavian 2777, push and start approved. Push and start approved. Scandinavian 2777, so.
Ready to taxi.
Red nose 3516, runway 22 right, taxi via Uniform Tango, Whiskey Victor Bravo, Echo 1.
Runway 22 right, taxi via Uniform Tango, Whiskey Victor Bravo, Echo 1, red nose 3516.
Scandinavian 2932 90239 ready. Cross runway 12.
Scandinavian 90239 cross runway 12.
Cross runway 12, Scandinavian 90239.
Approaching runway 22 right. Approaching runway 12.
Scandinavian 90239 cross runway 12, then continue taxi via Alpha 1.
Cross runway 12, then continue taxi via Alpha 1, Scandinavian 90239.
Approaching runway 12.
Scandinavian 90239 contact tower on 119 decimal 355, bye-bye.
119 decimal 355, Scandinavian 90239, good day, bye-bye.
Approaching runway 22 right.
Good afternoon, Tower, Scandinavian to 90239, horizontal runway 22 right, ready for departure.
Scandinavian 90239 Kastrup Tower, runway 22 right, winds 290 at 11, cleared for takeoff.
Winds 290 at 11, clear for takeoff, runway 22 right, Scandinavian 90239.
Scandinavian 584 contact ground on
Kevin
121
Rose,
decimal
please taxi for
905.
departure.
Say again.
Understood, Captain. I'll check on Kevin Rose now.
Lab checklist, takeoff runway 22 right, confirm TCAS, TAI, Park Swan 2 on lab checklist complete.
Understood, Captain. I checked on Kevin Rose and he seems to be doing well. No issues to report at this time.
departure on 120.55 Scandinavian 90239. Good day, bye-bye. Good afternoon, departure Scandinavian 90239 with you passing 2000 climbing to flight level 070.
Scandinavian 90239 departure identified. Scandinavian 90239 climb flight level 200.
Climbing to flight level 200 Scandinavian 90239.
Scandinavian 90239 climb flight level 260.
Climbing to flight level 260 Scandinavian 90239.
Đề nghị quý khách không hút thuốc trong suốt
239er, climb flight level 340.
Climbing to flight level 340, Scandinavian to 90239er.
Scandinavian 9er 239er, contact Copenhagen control on 127.865.
Copenhagen control on 127.865, Scandinavian 90239er. Good day, bye-bye. Good afternoon, control, check Scandinavian 90239er, passing flight level 190, dropping to flight level 340.
Scandinavian 90239er, Copenhagen control, good afternoon, identified. Scandinavian 2647, descend and maintain flight level 310, cleared for the Bog Mu 3 Papa arrival into Hamburg.
Down to flight level 310, cleared for the Bog Mu 3 Papa arrival into Hamburg, Scandinavian 2647. Copenhagen control, Scandinavian 2647, flight level 170.
Scandinavian 2647, radar contact. Juliet Whiskey, flight level 380.
Lufthansa 4 Juliet Whiskey, radar contact.
Dear guests, the cabin crew will now begin the snack and beverage service. We invite you to enjoy some of our popular items from the Scandinavian Airlines menu, including our delicious salmon sandwiches and refreshing berry juices. After the service, selected items from the Scandinavian Airlines shop will be available for you to browse. Thank you for flying with us.
Copenhagen Control, Nordic 940, flight level 190. Scandinavian 9239, contact Sweden Control on 134.455. Nordic 9040, contact Sweden Control on 135.805.
135.805, Nordic 9040.
Scandinavian 90239er, contact Sweden Control on 134.455.
134.455 Scandinavian 90239er, good one. Good afternoon, control Scandinavian 90239er, as flight level 340.
Scandinavian 90239, Sweden Control identified. Good afternoon.
Captain B at Bung Bay, would you like a drink or a small snack?
Scandinavian 90239 ready to descend.
Scandinavian 90239 descend via Lunin 4 Lima, 5000 into Oslo, QNH 1019.
Descend via Lunai 4 Lima to 5000, QNH 1019, Scandinavian 90239.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now making our descent for landing. Please return to your seat, ensure that your seat belt is fastened, your seat back is upright, your tray table is secured, and your window shade is opened. May we remind you that for safety reasons, your mobile phones, receiver or transmitter devices, and portable electronic equipment must be switched off or switched to flight mode until disembarkation. Portable electronic devices not in use must be stowed in the overhead lockers or in the seat pockets in front of you during landing and taxi. Passengers are also requested to refrain from using the lavatories from now on. Thank you.
Formation call. 1320 Zulu. Arriving and departing runways 01 right, 01 left. Wind 290 at 7. Cab OK. Temperature 9er, dew point -11. QNH 1020. Transition level 80. Radar coverage is currently reduced in some areas. Advise on initial contact.
Polaris control on 127.255 Scandinavian 90239. Good day, everyone. Good afternoon, control Scandinavian to 90239 descending to 5000.
Scandinavian 90239, Polaris control identified, guard and mid-eye. Scandinavian 90239, contact Oslo approach on 118.48.
118.48 Scandinavian to 90239. Good afternoon, approach Scandinavian to 90239 information Golf descending flight level descending to 5000.
Scandinavian 90239er, Oslo approach identified. Good afternoon, cleared in SUV transition. Expect the ILS Yankee runway 01 left approach into Oslo.
Clear in surf transition, expect ILS Yankee approach runway 01 left, Scandinavian 90239.
Scandinavian 90239er, shortcut for you. Maintain present heading vectors for the ILS runway 1 left approach. Speed 220 knots.
Maintain present heading vectors for the ILS approach runway 101 left, speed 220 knots, Scandinavian 90239.
Munich radar on 126.065.
Switching to Munich radar on 126.065, the Speedbird 77 Bravo.
Scandinavian 90239er, turn right heading 360.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now beginning our final
Turn right heading 360 Scandinavian 90239.
off and stowed away until we arrive at the gate. Kindly return your tray tables to their upright positions and make sure your seats are in the full upright position with your seat belts fastened. The weather in Oslo is currently 9 degrees Celsius.
Scandinavian 77 Echo contact. Sweden control on 131.055.
Thank you for your cooperation and for flying with Scandinavian
131.055 for Scandinavian 77 Echo.
Scandinavian 90239er, descend altitude 5,000 feet, turn left heading 330, QNH 1019er.
Descend to 3000, turn left heading 330 Scandinavian to 90239.
Scandinavian 242 Foxtrot, contact Polaris Control on 127.255.
127.255 for Scandinavian 242 Foxtrot. Good day.
Scandinavian 77 Echo, contact Polaris Control on 124.58.
124.58 for Scandinavian 77 Echo.
Checklist, Barorem 1019 set. Seatbelts on, all rack off and minimum 766 set. Engine motor line on project list complete.
The cabin is now secure for landing.
Scandinavian 90239er, 14 miles from Ogras. Turn right heading 335, descend altitude 4,000 feet until established on the localizer. cleared for the ILS runway 1 left approach.
Heading 335, descend to 4000 until established on the localizer. Wait for the ILS approach runway 101 left, rem Scandinavian 90239.
contact Polaris Control on 118.83.
2,500.
118.83 for Nordic Niner 42.
Scandinavia 92390 on final runway 01 left.
Scandinavian 90239er, contact Oslo Tower on 118.305.
118.305 Scandinavian 90239er. Scandinavian 90239er on final runway 01 left.
Scandinavian 90239er, Gardermoen and Tower, runway 01 left, winds 290 at 7, cleared to land.
Clear to land, runway 01 left, Scandinavian 90239.
Air 5, winds 360 at 11, runway 1 left, cleared to land.
Landing checklist, EKCH landing no flow, landing checklist complete. Cabin crew, please taxi for landing.
Understood, Captain. I will check on Kevin Crow's seat for landing now.
1000.
Check.
Approaching runway 1 left.
Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain.
Understood, Captain.
100.
I checked on Kevin Crow's seat, and he is securely fastened and ready for landing.
40, 30, 20.
Ladies and
retard.
gentlemen, we are now
Retard.
beginning our
Retard.
final approach into Oslo. Please ensure that all electronic devices are turned off and stowed away until we've arrived at the gate. Kindly return your tray tables to their upright
Speed
position
recovery
and
buses.
make sure your seats are in the full upright position with your seatbelts fastened. The weather in Oslo is currently 9 degrees Celsius with clear visibility.
Scandinavian 90239er, welcome to Oslo. Contact ground on 121.905.
Scandinavian
I know,
Airlines
brakes.
Flight 9239.
121.905 Scandinavian 90239er.
Thưa quý khách, máy bay của chúng
Cleared
ta
to land, 1 left, Scandinavian
tại chỗ
4473.
sẽ an toàn để cài chắn cho khi tới trường các tín hiệu đến cái vé an toàn và máy bay đã dừng hẳn tại sân đỗ. Đề nghị quý khách không sử dụng điện thoại và các thiết bị điện tử vào lúc này.
Scandinavian 90239er clear up after runway 01 left, ready to taxi to gates.
Chuyến bay tới. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until Captain switch off the fasten seatbelt sign and the aircraft has come to a complete stop.
Scandinavian
Do not use
90239er,
mobile phone and
Gardermoen,
electronic
taxi to
devices
West
at this moment. Captain can be manager of another crew member.
Gate 64 via Alpha 6 Victor Delta. Good day, Scandinavian 90239er.
Thank you and goodbye.
Alpha, give way to the Scandinavian Embraer 195 on your left.
Give way to the Scandinavian Embraer 195, Widow 3 Lima Alpha.
Scandinavian 4473, taxi to parking.
Scandinavian 4473, taxi to parking via Alpha 5, Hotel November Kilo.
Alpha 5, Hotel November Kilo, Scandinavian 4473.
Scandinavian 4422, ready to taxi. Scandinavian 4422, runway 1 left taxi via Juliet, Romeo, Papa, November Alpha 1. Runway 1 left taxi via Juliet, Romeo, Papa, November Alpha 1, Scandinavian 4422. Wide road 3 Lima Alpha, contact tower on 118.305.
Switching to tower, Widow 3 Lima Alpha.
Nordic 346, ready for push. Nordic 346, cleared for push and start. Roger, pushback approved, Nordic 346.
Nordic 346, runway 1 left, taxi via Kilo, November, Alpha 1.
Runway 1 left taxi via Kilo, November, Alpha 1, Nordic 346.
Ground Nordic 1901, taxi to the rim. Nordic 1901, taxi to parking via Alpha 5, Hotel Echo Kilo 2.
Boarding requested.
Scandinavian 1465 radio check.
Scandinavian 1465, Garder Moon clearance, readability 5.
Arriving and departing runways 01.
Scandinavian 1465 information India request IFR clearance to Kastrup.
I'm working on that clearance, stand by. Scandinavian 1465, cleared to Kastrup via the OK Set 4 Alpha departure, runway 1 left. Initial climb to 7,000, departure on 118.48, squawk 5431.
Clear to Kastrup via the Oscar Kilo Sierra Alpha 4 Alpha departure, runway 01 left, initial climb to 7,000, departure on 118.48, squawk 5431, Scandinavian 1465.
Passengers boarding started.
Scandinavian 1465, read back correct. Ground will be on 121.905.
121.905, Scandinavian 1465, good day, bye bye.
Scandinavian 1465, Garder Moon ground. Can you repeat that?
giấc mộng đẹp đắm say ta lại cùng nắm tay ngoài kia thế giới đang chào đón những chặng đường sẽ qua bầu trời xanh vắng cùng bên nhau đến những nơi tuyệt vời về miền Nam Âu núi đồi biển khơi xanh thẳm dải cánh vươn xa thật xa chẳng thấy cuối trời chẳng còn quang vãi giấc mơ Việt Nam tung cao. lại trong ta những khoảnh khắc ta lại cùng nắm tay những hành trình đắm say trọn vẹn giây phút giấc mơ tuyệt vời về miền Nam Lam núi đồi biển khơi xanh cánh bay xa thật xa chẳng ai cuối trời trong một khoảng khắc giấc mơ biển đảo tốt thay cả thế giới như gần hơn của mỗi chuyến bay cả thế giới như gần hơn của mỗi chuyến bay
Scandinavian 4422, runway 1 left taxi via Romeo Papa November Alpha 1. Runway 1 left taxi via Romeo Papa November Alpha 1, Scandinavian 4422.
Ground, Scandinavian 46 Bravo, taxi to parking.
Scandinavian 46 Bravo, taxi to parking via Alpha 5 Hotel Delta.
Alpha 5 Hotel Delta, Scandinavian 46 Bravo.
Ready to taxi. 03051, runway 1 left taxi via El Blue Tango Papa November Alpha 1. Runway 1 left taxi via El Blue Tango Papa November Alpha 1 with Air 3051.
Nordic 346, ready for push.
Nordic 346, cleared for push and start.
Roger, pushback approved, Nordic 346.
Kilo 2, Kilo November Alpha 1. Runway 1 left taxi via Kilo 2, Kilo November Alpha 1, Scandinavian 362. Nordic 1718, runway 1 left taxi via Kilo 1, Kilo November Alpha 1.
Runway 1 left taxi via Kilo 1, Kilo November Alpha 1, Nordic 1718.
Scandinavian 4422, give way to the Nordic 737.
We'll give way to the Nordic 737, Scandinavian 4422. Ground, Red Nose 39907, taxi to parking.
Red Nose 39907, taxi to parking via Alpha 6, Victor Sierra, L Blue, Orange.
Alpha 6, Victor Sierra, L Blue, Orange, Red Nose 39907.
Scandinavian 1625 ready for push and start.
Scandinavian 1465, push and start approved. Face north.
Push and start through face north. Scandinavian 1465. Before start checklist, parking brake set, takeoff speed and thrust. V1 154, VR 154, V2 155, taxi time 680, racers are set, window closed, beacons on before start checklist.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback. Departure checks completed. Bypass pin inserted. Locking gear.
Ryanair 7 Hotel Victor, runway 1 left taxi via Romeo Papa, November Alpha 1.
Runway 1 left taxi via Romeo Papa, November Alpha 1, Ryanair 7 Hotel Victor.
Nordic 56, Mike Golf, ready to taxi.
Nordic 56 Mike Golf, runway 1 left taxi via Kilo, November Alpha 1.
Runway 1 left taxi via Kilo, November Alpha 1, Nordic 56, Mike Golf.
Nordic 1718, contact tower on 118.305.
Tower, Nordic 1718.
Ground, Red Nose 3228, taxi to the ramp. Red Nose 3228, taxi to parking via Alpha 6, Victor Zulu Juliet.
Alpha 6, Victor Zulu Juliet, Red Nose 3228.
Release parking brakes, please. Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at wheel.
Starting engine 2.
Khách vui lòng dành thời gian để theo dõi cách sử dụng các thiết bị an toàn trên máy bay.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the international safety and comfort are priority for departure. First, we would like to have your attention while we are demonstrating procedures.
Dây an toàn. Khi khách vui lòng cài sẵn dây an toàn, hệ thống cài dây an toàn được bật sáng vào trong suốt thời gian bay. Dây an toàn của quý khách được cài như sau: cài hai đầu khóa vào nhau, siết chặt bằng cách kéo một đầu dây, mở bằng cách nhấc đầu khóa. Nếu quý khách đi cùng trẻ nhỏ hoặc cần dây an toàn nối dài, vui lòng đến những tiếp viên để giật dây an toàn trẻ em, dây an toàn nối dài.
Whenever seatbelts are hidden, be careful to fasten your seatbelt and keep it visible while you are seated. Insert the metal fittings into the other and tighten by pulling the strap. To unfasten your seatbelt, lift the flap and pull the ends apart.
Mặt nạ định kỳ do phụ thuộc mặt áp suất, mặt nạ định kỳ sẽ tự động rơi xuống từ trên thuyền môi của quý khách. Để có định kỳ, quý khách đeo mắt mặt nạ cần thiết, đặt mặt nạ lên kính bảo hiểm, choàng dây ra sau đầu, siết chặt và cởi cửa. Vì lý do an toàn, quý khách định kỳ khi sử dụng mặt nạ định kỳ cần tránh xa các thiết bị dễ gây cháy nổ. Nếu quý khách đi cùng trẻ nhỏ hoặc hành khách cần thiết,
Wizz Air 3051, give way to the Scandinavian ahead. Giving way to the Scandinavian 320 Neo, Wizz Air 3051.
This is a local person, Italian Montenegro, down from Copenhagen. To start oxygen flow, for the maximum flow of fuel, please determine over your nozzle pump. Introduce the back behind your head and wait normally. Take your guard looking to the front to establish all smoking materials the house has been used. If you are traveling with a child or someone who is full of gas, take your own mask first, then exit the other person. Oxygen masks are also
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Áo phao được đặt dưới ghế ngồi của quý khách. Quý khách lưu ý chỉ lấy áo phao ra khỏi vị trí sẽ có yêu cầu của nhân viên. Đặt áo choàng qua đầu, thắt chặt dây áo quanh eo. Khi rời khỏi máy bay tại cửa thoát hiểm, quý khách làm phỏng áo phao bằng cách cẩn thận
Airline 434, taxi to the ramp.
phỏng áo phao hoặc làm xẹp áo phao.
Airline 434, taxi to parking via Alpha 6 Victor Sierra L Blue Lagrange.
Trên áo phao có trang bị còi để hỗ trợ.
Alpha 6 Victor Sierra L Blue Lagrange, Airline 434.
Unlocking gear.
Your luggage is located on the rear seat or between two seats below the armrest. Remove it only when instructed by cabin crew. Place over your head, adjust the straps around your waist, fasten in front and pull aside. Baggage aircraft will take license by going down the reset or so. Rubber tube or tubes can be used to inflate or deflate the lightweight. If you want to eliminate automatically, you can direct contact with the water. If it doesn't eliminate, deflect on them.
Scandinavian 1465 ready to taxi to runway 01 left.
It is again slow to remove any luggage from the aircraft.
Scandinavian 1465, runway 01 left, taxi via Delta Hotel November Alpha 1.
Taxi via Delta Hotel November Alpha 1, Scandinavian 1465.
There are 8 exits on this aircraft. 2 doors at the front of the cabin, 4 windows over the wing, and 2 doors at the rear of the cabin. Cabin crew is now showing the exit. Please take a moment to locate your nearest exit. It may be front or you're behind you.
Tất cả các cửa chính và cửa thoát hiểm đều trang bị cầu phao, thuyền phao. Các thiết bị này sẽ tự động bung ra khi cửa được mở chế độ đóng chốt.
Clear left side, clear right side, right check, passenger row, flight. Left side, clear right side, right check, passenger row, flight control.
Ground, Nordic 1105, taxi to the gate.
Nordic 1105, taxi to parking via Alpha 5 Hotel Yankee Golf.
Good full left, full right.
Alpha 5 Hotel Yankee Golf, Nordic 1105.
Exits are clearly marked with an exit sign. In case of an emergency, with smoke or darkness or proximity exit markings or emergency spotlight, please use the exit.
Quý khách vui lòng dành thời gian để đọc bảng hướng dẫn an toàn trong túi ghế phía trước khi máy bay cất cánh. Quý khách vui lòng xác định tư thế an toàn phù hợp nhất trong trường hợp
checklist, flight control, check flight setting, config 1, decide radar and brake to ensure
quý khách vui lòng thắt chặt dây an toàn, giữ thẳng lưng ghế, lọc bàn ăn phía trước, hạ tay ghế và mở tấm xe cửa sổ. Xin cảm ơn sự chú ý của quý khách và kính chúc quý khách một chuyến bay tốt đẹp.
It is important to the contact your safety briefing card placed in the seat pocket in front of you prior to takeoff. Check the cabin crew with fine preparations for takeoff. Please ensure your seatbelt is securely fastened.
secure for takeoff.
Scandinavian 1465, contact tower on 118.305, bye-bye.
One 305 Scandinavian 1465. Good day, bye bye. Good afternoon, Tower Scandinavian 1465, ready for departure, runway 01 left.
Scandinavian 1465, Gardermoen Tower, no delay, 737 on an 8-mile final, runway 01 left, winds 040 at 9er, cleared for takeoff.
Wind 0409, clear for takeoff, runway 01 left, Scandinavian 1465.
Approaching runway 1 left.
Stabilize.
On runway 1 left.
Right
Remain
flag 65 set, IRS runway auto
1,600 feet.
Scandinavian 1465, contact departure on 118.48.
Scandinavian 1465, good day. Good afternoon, Scandinavian 1465, passing 2500 climbing to flight level 070.
Scandinavian 1465, departure identified. Climb 3500. Scandinavian 1465, climb flight level 220.
Climbing to flight level 220, Scandinavian 1465.
Scandinavian 1465, contact Polaris Control on 127.255.
Polaris control on 127.255, Scandinavian 1465, good day. Polaris control, Scandinavian 1465 with you, passing. 6500 climbing to flight level 220.
Scandinavian 1465, Polaris Control identified. Hey Oslo, QNH 1020. Scandinavian 1465, climb flight level 290.
Climbing to flight level 290, Scandinavian 1465.
Quý vị rời khỏi chỗ ngồi, quý khách vui lòng bật thẻ nhảy an toàn trong chiếc chuyến bay. Phòng khi máy bay bay vào khu vực thời tiết xấu, đề nghị quý khách không hút thuốc trong suốt chuyến bay, kể cả thuốc lá điện tử. Quý khách có thể sử dụng máy vi tính và các thiết bị điện tử sách tay trong chế độ sử dụng trên máy bay và chế độ im lặng từ thời điểm này cho đến khi máy bay giảm độ cao. Sau đây chúng tôi sẽ phục vụ quý khách bữa ăn nhẹ. Nếu quý khách có yêu cầu gì, vui lòng bấm thư gọi tiếp theo. Xin cảm ơn. Ladies and gentlemen, the fasten seatbelt sign has just been
Runway 2 level 330, Scandinavian 1465.
Scandinavian 1465, not clear what you said, say again.
Runway 2 level 350, Scandinavian 1465. Expect the Echo Romeo November Oscar for Charlie arrival. Scandinavian 1465, control on 124.405. Good afternoon, control Scandinavian 1465 with you at flight level 350.
Scandinavian 1465, Sweden control identified. Good evening.
Information Lima. Copenhagen Kastrup Airport. Information Lima. 1520 Zulu. Arriving runways 22 left, 12. Departing runways 22 right, 12. Wind 280 at 12. Visibility 10. Sky clear. Temperature 11. Dew point -7. QNH 1024. Transition level 60. Advise on initial contact. You have information Lima. Copenhagen Kastrup Airport. Information Lima. 1520 Zulu. Arriving runways 22 left, 12.
Scandinavian 1465 ready to be set.
Scandinavian 1465, descend via ELR 4 Charlie, 4000 into Kastrup, QNH 1024.
Descend via Erno 4 Charlie to 4000 into Kastrup, QNH 1024, Scandinavian 1465. Today.
sinh từ lúc này. Xin cảm ơn. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now making our descent for landing. Please return to your seat, ensure that your seatbelt is fastened, your seat back is upright, your tray table is secured, and your window shade is opened. May we remind you that for safety reasons, your mobile phones, receiver or transmitter devices, and portable electronic equipment must be switched off or switched to flight mode until disembarkation. Portable electronic devices not in use must be stowed in the overhead lockers or in the seat pockets in front of you during landing and taxi. Passengers are also requested to refrain from using the lavatories from now on. Thank you.
Temperature 11, dew point -7. QNH 1024. Transition level 60. Advise on initial contact you have information Lima. Copenhagen Kastrup Airport, information Lima. 1520 Zulu. Arriving runways 22 left, 12. Departing runways 22 right, 12. Wind 280 at 12.
Copenhagen approach on 118.455, Scandinavian 1465. Copenhagen approach, Scandinavian 1465, information Lima descending to 4000.
Scandinavian 1465, Copenhagen approach. Good evening, Kastrup, altimeter 1024. Expect the ILS runway 22 left approach into Kastrup.
Expect the ILS approach runway 22 left, Scandinavian 1465.
below 250 knots.
Thank you for your attention.
Speed below 250 knots, Scandinavian 1465.
Aye, Captain. The cabin is now secure for landing.
Scandinavian 1465. Proceed direct Charlie Hotel 2 Lima Foxtrot. Descend altitude 2,000 feet. QNH 1024. Until established on the localizer cleared for the ILS runway 22 left approach.
Proceed direct Charlie Hotel to Lima Foxtrot, then descend to 2000 feet QNH 1024 until established on the localizer cleared for the ILS approach runway 22 left Scandinavian 1465.
Speed 250 knots.
Speed 2250 knots, Scandinavian 1465.
1465, contact Kastrup Tower on 121.83 when established. Sierra Echo Foxtrot, uniform contact, Copenhagen Control on 124.555. 124.555 for Sierra Echo Foxtrot, uniform.
Contact Kastrup Tower on 121.83 when established, Scandinavia 1465.
departure, Topsail 73 Delta Alpha 2000 for 4000.
Topsail 73 Delta Alpha, radar contact. Climb and maintain 11-1000.
Up to 11-1000, Topsail 73 Delta Alpha.
Scandinavian 1465 on final runway 22 left.
Red nose 3658, winds 280 at 12, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff.
Scandinavian 1465, Kastrup Tower, runways available are 22 left and 12 only. Scandinavian 1465, runway 22 left, winds 280 at 12, clear to land.
Winds 280 at 12, clear to land runway 22 left, Scandinavian 1465. Cabin crew, please. Cabin crew, please taxi for landing.
Copy, Captain. Cabin is secure and crew are taking seats now.
Check.
Approaching runway 22 left.
Too low, terrain.
Short of runway 12.
Too low, terrain.
Short of runway 12,
Too low, terrain. 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 Too low, terrain.
40, 30.
Too low, terrain.
20. Retard. 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 Retard.
Spoiler,
that was rough. I'm glad we are down.
Scandinavian 1465, welcome to Kastrup. Contact ground on 121.905.
121.905 Scandinavian 1465.
Khi tới trường ta tín hiệu đến cái an toàn và máy bay đã dừng hẳn tại sân đỗ. Đề nghị quý khách không sử dụng điện thoại và các thiết bị điện tử vào lúc này. Cơ trưởng, tiếp viên trưởng và phi hành đoàn chân thành cảm ơn quý khách đã đồng hành đến với hành động của diếu khách. Trân trọng cảm ơn và hẹn gặp lại quý khách.
Scandinavian 1465, we are up active runway 22 left, ready to taxi to the gate.
An aircraft is coming to a coupling stop. Do not use mobile phones and electronic devices at this moment. Captain, cabin manager, and our crew members, I'd like to thank you for flying in Bamboo Airways. The airline supports hospitality. We look forward to meeting you again soon. Thank you and goodbye.
Via Bravo 4, Bravo
Bravo, Charlie, Delta, hold short of runway 12, then Quebec. Good day.
Gate Charlie 30 via Bravo for Bravo, Charlie, Delta, hold short runway 12, then Quebec. Good day, Scandinavian 1465.
Finnair 3 Alpha Tango, ready to taxi. Finnair 3 Alpha Tango, runway 22 right, taxi via Juliet. Kilo Zulu Alpha, hold short of runway 12, then Alpha 1. Runway 22 right, taxi via Juliet, Kilo Zulu Alpha, hold short of runway 12, then Alpha 1, Finnair 3 Alpha Tango. Scandinavian 85 Alpha, request push and start clearance. Scandinavian 85 Alpha, push and start approved.
Approaching runway 12.
Scandinavian 1465, cross runway 12, then continue taxi via Quebec.
Cross runway 12 and then continue via Quebec, Scandinavian 1465.
Approaching runway 12.
ready to taxi.
Scandinavian 687, runway 22 right, taxi via Sierra Romeo Bravo Echo 1.
Runway 22 right, taxi via Sierra Romeo Bravo Echo 1, Scandinavian 687.
Ground Scandinavian 409er, taxi to the ramp.
Scandinavian 409er, taxi to parking via Bravo 4, Bravo Charlie Delta, hold short of runway 12, then Yankee Romeo.
Bravo 4, Bravo Charlie Delta, hold short of runway 12, then Yankee Romeo, Scandinavian 409er.
Scandinavian 85 Alpha, runway 22 right, taxi via Uniform Tango Whiskey Victor Bravo Echo 1. Runway 22 right, taxi via Uniform Tango Whiskey Victor Bravo Echo 1, Scandinavian 85 Alpha.
Ethiopian 3735, ready to push.
Ethiopian 3735, pushback approved.
Pushback approved, Ethiopian 37.